Scroll down to page 3. Continue reading.
And Lance says, why? And Tyler says, why did I do it? And Lance says, yeah. Tyler says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my right.
Stop scrolling. We just got our hands on the actual unredacted text messages where a suspect admits to everything right after it happened. Look at this cracked screen.
He asks you here, remember how I was engraving bullets? Was he engraving bullets before this?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but he had said he was planning to go hunting with his family. And he asked me for if we had a Dremel because he said he wanted to engrave messages on bullets. And I just told him where our Dremel was and told him to make sure he doesn't set off a bullet on accident in the house. But I didn't really think about it until then.
How long before September 10th was this that he asked about the Dremel?
I don't remember because he'd been talking about the hunting/camping trip for a couple months, but I don't remember when he was specifically asking to engrave the bullets. So
are we talking like a year before?
Oh no, not that long. It would have been, I'd say at most a month before this was when he was asking.
Wait, did you catch that? He's casually asking his roommate for a Dremel tool to engrave messages onto bullets. Think about how insane that is for a second. You don't just wake up and decide to customize ammo for a weekend camping trip. That is calculated, cold-blooded planning. And what's wild is how the roommate completely brushed it off at the time. He literally just pointed out where the tool was and told him not to accidentally set off a round in the apartment. It's crazy how we can be standing right next to a massive red flag and not even realize it until the sirens start blaring. If you pause right at the beginning of that clip, you can see the absolute shock in the investigator's eyes when he realizes the timeline. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. This was brewing for weeks, maybe even months. And the fact that this private Zoom call is just now leaking to the public, that changes the entire trajectory of this trial.
Along.
Okay. And Tyler says, I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. And then Lance replies, you weren't the one who did it, right? And Tyler says, I am, I'm sorry. Lance says, I thought they caught the person. And then Tyler says, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude and interrogated someone in similar clothing. I'd planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering.
Look at the cracks on that phone screen. Those are the live, real-time messages sent moments after everything went down. He's actively hiding, texting his roommate, admitting that he left his rifle at the drop point. What completely blows my mind here is the absolute panic mixed with this weird sense of resignation. He actually texts, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. Who says that? It's like something straight out of a psychological thriller, except this is real life and a real investigation playing out over iMessage. And check out the timestamp spacing. He's firing off these messages rapidly because he knows the walls are closing in. The roommate is practically interrogating him, trying to piece together if law enforcement grabbed the right guy. It's a masterclass in how modern digital footprints instantly destroy any chance of a cover-up. There is zero way to walk back a digital paper trail like this, especially when you are spelling out your escape plan while hiding in the perimeter.
Was he pacing? Was he just sitting down, relaxing?
No, he was walking around a lot.
And that's within the home?
Mm-hmm.
And did he talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. He started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it, and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
Okay. did he talk about what he was going to do next?
Did you see his body language right there? The roommate is trying to keep his composure, but you can hear the raw stress in his voice when he talks about the pacing. Imagine sitting in your living room while the guy you share rent with is just wearing a hole in the floorboards, completely unraveling. And when he asks him point blank if the rumors from the night before are true, and the guy just starts crying, that right there is the moment the illusion shattered. That's the exact second you realize the person you've been eating breakfast with is capable of something unimaginable. It's completely chilling. The investigator is pressing him for details, but honestly, what details do you even need when the guy breaks down in tears and admits he wishes he hadn't done it? The emotional weight in that tiny, sterile Zoom window is heavier than any physical evidence they could ever present to a jury. It perfectly highlights how the people closest to a situation are usually the last ones to connect the final dots.
Said did well in the killing. That is when Tyler Robinson's mom, started crying and wiping her eyes. Charlie Kirk's mother had her hand on Erica's upper arm and shoulder, and they were both tearful today. After showing the Discord chat logs, the prosecution also put the note from Tyler Robinson on the screen. That's the handwritten note that's been discussed that Tyler Robinson left for his lover. Our reporter inside of the courtroom says it was a very lengthy, full-page handwritten note, Trace.
Okay, hold up. The handwritten note changes everything. We've been looking at digital evidence this whole time, but a full-page handwritten letter left under a keyboard? That implies a level of premeditation that completely destroys any crime of passion defense his team might try to build. The reporter outside the courthouse is breaking down the live reaction, and you have to pay attention to how the suspect is behaving in the chair, squirming, scratching his nose, refusing to look at the monitors. That is pure, unadulterated guilt radiating through a courtroom. And you cannot ignore the family's reactions either. The mother is in the gallery wiping her eyes while the entire court listens to these logs. It is a completely devastating scene for everyone involved. A digital text message can be fired off in a second of panic, but sitting down with a pen and a piece of paper to write out a manifesto or an apology takes time. It takes quiet, terrifying focus. That note is going to be the absolute nail in the coffin.
And then eventually said that he would talk to his parents or turn himself over.
Okay. And when you left, was that how you left, understanding that he was going to turn himself in or go to his parents' house?
Yeah, and I didn't really want to be at our apartment while any of that was happening, regardless of what went down.
Pay close attention to what the roommate says about not wanting to be at the apartment. Can you blame him? He knows his roommate is about to surrender to the authorities, or at least have a massive confrontation with his parents, and he is just trying to put as much distance between himself and ground zero as humanly possible. It's pure survival instinct kicking in. You can almost feel the tension through the screen as he explains his exit strategy. He didn't want any part of the fallout, and honestly, who would? If you look closely at the investigator's face, you see a slight nod of approval. It's like they completely understand why he bolted. This isn't just about preserving a crime scene. This is about a kid realizing his entire life just got dragged into a federal spotlight without his consent. The sheer exhaustion on Lance's face says more than the actual words he's speaking. He's been pulled into an absolute nightmare.
Rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything in the news about them finding it. We'll update you shortly, we'll update you by midnight. And then Lance says, all right, stay safe. How long have you been planning this?
Scroll down a little bit, please, Kimberly.
And Tyler replies, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it.
We can scroll down to page 4 and continue.
Let's pull back and look at the motive that just flashed across that broken screen. I had enough of his hatred. That single sentence is the absolute core of this entire incident. It completely bypasses all the speculation and rumor mills online and gives us the exact, terrifying why straight from the source. It's wild because when you read it, it's devoid of any grand political manifesto. It's just raw, unfiltered resentment boiling over into real-world violence. And notice how the roommate just replies, yeah, There's no argument, no confusion. It implies this wasn't a new conversation between them. It was the final, fatal conclusion to something they had probably discussed in passing for months. You really have to stop and think about how many online echo chambers are pushing people right to this exact boiling point. It's a sobering reality check that the text bubbles we use to send memes and grocery lists are also being used to document federal crimes in real time. Drop a comment below and tell me if you think that handwritten note is enough to put him away for life. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.